Hello, folks. How are you? Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Hi there, Paul. How we doing? Pipe Smoker 795. How are you? Hi, Bona Piper. Good to see you. Cogs, good to see you too. Fantastic. Glad it's all coming across well. Hey, Kilted Piper Steve. Good to see you. And is that Smoking KY Piper or Smoking Kentucky Piper? Full Smoking Bar. How you doing? I'm not bad, Pipe Smoker 795. Not bad at all. Although I feel woefully ill prepared tonight. I'll tell you why. I'm also off center quite a bit. Move over there. There we go. Hey, London Larry Higgins. Good to see you, buddy. Kentucky. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Andrew Lopez. Oh, good to have you aboard, my friend. Glad you're enjoying the videos. Hey, Corvette Jim. How you doing? Been spending some time with a few of your pipes the past few days. Battle Creek Briar, good to see you. David Dixon, Pipeful. How you doing, Andrew? Southwest Aficionado, Micah, good to see you. H.H. Piper YTPC, Ollie, very good to see you, my friend. Traveler Mike, Wisconsin Woodsman, Sasquatch Piper, how you doing, my friend? GLP's Gaslight and a Stanwell Black and White, sounds good. Hey, Everett, good to see you, buddy. Larry Lepore. Lots of folks here tonight. Great to see you guys all. Really glad you could make it. Yeah, I was saying I feel woefully ill prepared because I've been, as this has been kind of new and I've been kind of working out the sort of working out the ropes of how to do this. I realized I was probably spending too much time getting ready. So tonight I thought, well, I don't need that much time to get ready. And then, of course, I was not ready. But it all turned out okay. So tonight, having a beer tonight. This is an interesting one. It is a Florida Cracker from Cigar City Brewing. These guys make some really good beers. I really like their Maduro, and this is a new one that I'm trying tonight for the first time. It's a Belgian-styled white ale brewed with coriander and orange peel, and they say, it's funny, some of these beers, the descriptions are almost as good as the tobacco tins. Though it's named for the 18th century cracker cowboys of the Florida prairie, the citrus notes and effervescent body of this Belgian-style white ale make it perfect for any lovers of fresh air and outdoor adventure. It's pretty good beer. Very citrusy, little hoppy, but I like it. It's so far so good. Yeah, it's I guess it's technically a wick beer, Durham Duke, so it is a little bit cloudy. Thank you, MK. I appreciate that. Hey, Couch, how you doing, my friend? So tonight, I'm going to be doing something a little different pipe-wise as well. I've got some pipes that I haven't smoked very often on YouTube, and I just figured I'll mix it up a little bit and bring some of these guys out. This is a Tim Heineck pipe that I've had for, I don't know, 8 years maybe. Really nice artisan-made pipe. I love the rustication on this. It's a very deep, craggy rustication. It's got one of these neat spinner rings that you can play with while you're smoking, and a really pretty brindle stem. For reasons that even I don't understand, I decided I was only going to smoke Latakia out of this, and since I smoke Latakia about once every 6 months, I just don't smoke this pipe as much as I should. Yeah, Ollie, it is huge, but it's actually drilled quite small, so it's got very thick walls. So what I am going to smoke, and this is also a rarity for me, is some, you probably won't be able to read that anyway, but it's Cornell and Deal Star of the East, which is a nice, in my opinion, Latakia blend because it's relatively mild, relatively smooth. It doesn't have a lot of that tangy tartness that I tend to associate with a lot of Kia these days. So I'll load that up and get it going. So what are you guys all smoking out there? Tim West pipe. He's a great pipe maker. I like that name too, WKR Piper in Cincinnati. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Andrew, it is. I really do enjoy this, and I'm not a lot of Kia fan at all, but this one just seems to have gotten it right. Paul, you're back on that Kendall Black XX, huh? Plum pudding for Wisconsin Woodsman. Small batch in a Paul Cayuga pipe. I'm not familiar with Paul Cayuga. I'll have to look into him. Aged Burley Flake. That sounds good, Uncle John. Luxury Twist Flake for David Dixon. Everett, you enjoy that, and I will not mention it. Louisiana Perique Flake. That's a good one. Hard to find. Old Kentucky. That's another good one. Everett's teasing me because we had some interactions on Instagram last night and today that were quite comical around a tobacco that cannot be named. Cult Blood Red Moon and RC Sands. That sounds very good, yeah. So, as you probably, if you watched last week, you know, and if you saw any of the promo stuff I put out, you know this is just going to be a solo show tonight. It's just me as I watch the number of attendees drop steadily. Yeah, just me tonight. Lunting Larry's having Bing and haunted bookshop and a Bing. That's one of my favorite combinations there, Larry. So you know we'll see where this takes us. I got a few things I want to talk about. I'm happy to take questions or whatever. We'll just wing it. But if you don't mind, I'd like to ask you a couple questions as we're getting warmed up. I know I've gotten a lot of really positive feedback on the format, and I appreciate that. I've gotten some constructive criticism, which has really been helpful. In particular, a few people have commented on the audio quality, and that's something that I am working on. It's going to take me a little bit of time to get it sorted, but eventually I'm going to be able to incorporate the audio directly into the stream without a microphone, and even bring in other video streams, so we'll be able to take advantage of things like Skype. A lot of folks have suggested Zoom, and I think other people are doing that, and it's a different format than I really want. I'm looking more for that one-on-one storytelling interaction than a big group conversation. So I hope that is working for everyone. Are there things about the format that you like? Not like, because you've already told me that, but things that you think I could improve on, I guess is what I'm asking. And if nothing comes to mind, please send me an email or something. I'd love to get your feedback. Okay, Everett, say hi to your dad and have a good evening. Hey, Pipe Tree, good to see you, my friend. Yeah, the audio now is fine. It's when I go to the caller that I think it drops off quite a bit. So, and it depends on the caller and how the connection is as well. Douglas Gorman, a mix of Lane 1Q and Velvet and a Rossi. Are you allowed to mix Velvet with anything? I thought there was a law against that. Boca de Boynton, good to see you. Not yet. Give it time. Oh, thanks, Cogs. I appreciate that. Yeah, I think he would, Pipe Smoker 795. We don't want Ben to hear about that one. Thank you, David. I appreciate the feedback. Half and half with a lot of Kia. That's interesting. Ah, Fragrant Offering and George Tiedemann. Good to see you guys. New pipe purchases. No, and I was actually thinking I was going to get a pipe at the New York Pipe Show next week, but I'm not sure I'm going to be able to go, unfortunately. Bonapiper's pointing out if you mix velvet with mixture 79, you would get Ben's blessing. I think you're right about that. PBR Street Gang, good to see you. Snoopy 1X, 7 Ellie Mike. Well, if you haven't tried Latakia yet, I highly recommend this Cornell and Deal Star of the East. It's a nice mild English, but it's got plenty of Latakia flavor. It's very smooth. Oh no, Andrew, the velvet stocks will crash. Yes, Snaptown Pipes and Sticks. I have had Five Brothers. Um, it's very good. You got to be careful how you pack that because it can burn really fast and really hot. Hey, Mark in Rhode Island, good to see you. So one of the things I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight was a little bit of an update on what our friend Eddie Gray has been doing with the Matches 860 tribute pipe. And I don't know if you guys all are on Eddie's mailing list, but if you're not, there's some pretty exciting news. And I think it's important to think about what Eddie's doing here for us. He's giving us an opportunity not only to help out John's family a little bit, but also to have a memorial for a guy that we all cared about very much. And that's a great thing for him. He had to get in touch with Savinelli. He had to do all the groundwork for this. Um, and I just think it's great what he's done. So his recent email was great news. He's gotten up to close to 700 pre-orders, and he's decided to extend the pre-order window a little bit. I think by maybe a week. So you got to act on this soon if you still haven't had a chance. But if he can get to 750 pre-orders, he is then going to put in his own money to bring the total number up to 860 for 860. And the neat thing about that is, remember, each of these pipes is going to be stamped, 30 out of however many they make. So if they get it up to 860, they'll all be stamped 30 out of 860, and that'll just be a cool little addition to the tribute. I think that would be fun. So if you haven't ordered one, you still have an opportunity, and it would be great to get him up to that 750 value. If you got the means and you want to order a second one for your friend, whatever you can do. The other thing that Eddie said that is just wonderful is he's decided to actually double the contribution to John's family. So he was originally giving $10 for each pipe. Now he's giving $20 for each pipe. And if you just put a little bit of thought into this, I'm familiar enough with the pipe world to know, and I have no inside information from Eddie. I haven't talked to him about this or anything. I don't even really know Eddie other than what he's doing. But if you just have an idea of what it costs for somebody to buy factory direct a pipe, and keep in mind that these are being made and shipped from Italy, so you got to pay the cost of the pipe, you got to pay for the shipping here, and then you got to pay for the shipping out to the customers. And now you're giving away $20 off of each of those. Eddie's really, he's almost, considering his time, he's actually losing money in this. He's doing a great thing for us guys. So if you can take advantage of that, go check him out at pipenook.com. And if you can't, order a tin of tobacco or something, just show him our support. Hey, Bearded Welshman, good to see you. WKR Piper, I did, and I don't want to talk about it. Somebody just said they liked the late limited ready rubbed. I missed who that was, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's some good stuff. Sorry. Yeah, I said it earlier, but people are coming in and out all the time. I'm smoking Star of the East. A very rare appearance of a lot of Kia on my channel. From Cornell and Deal. Hey there, Adita. Good to see you. Thank you for that, WKR Piper. Thank you, Back Porch Piping. It's a Tim Heineck, and it's a pipe I like a lot, but I've decided for reasons I can't tell you because I don't know to only smoke a lot of Kia out of it. So I rarely smoke it because I don't smoke a lot of Kia very much. Oh, Yardism, good to see you. Glad you're enjoying that. That's true, RJ Lionheart, but that is money that's coming out of the money that we're paying. Wore out the Zippo insert there, smoking Kentucky Piper. I've done that. Thank you, Alan. It is quite a pipe. It's a great one to hold though. It's got this really deep rustication and it just feels good in your hand. And the walls are so thick that it doesn't heat up at all. Frank Youngblood, just go to thepipenook.com. Everything's there. You like an independent sound? Elizabethan is quite good as well. Have them join in, Traveler Mike. It's a great shop, PBR Street Gang. I've been there a few times. Really, really like it. MK, honestly, the only rustication tool that I have is a Dremel. I don't do a lot of rustication. And when I do, I typically just use a round bit and dabble it. Hey, the Artful Codger made it. You missed from some blasphemy earlier, Ben. Mike Clark, Old Joe Krantz, good stuff. It was something about mixing something with a certain tobacco that begins with a V. Can't do better than that, Adita. Desert Pine Piper. You got to time it better, my friend. I disavow all knowledge of that fragrant offering. Hmm. Kilted Piper Steve's asking what got me into pipe restoration and repair. Honestly, it was done out of a need to repair a pipe. I had in my early days of pipe smoking, I had very little money to buy pipes, and I had bitten through the stem of a gray bow, and I hated the thought of throwing it away, so I did a really lousy job repairing it, I basically cut it off with a saw and then took a needle file and filed a new button in. I actually still have that pipe. I've been meaning for years to do a video on restoring it, making a new stem for it, and just haven't gotten around to it. So it started with that, and then I got into picking up pipes in antique shops and playing with those, and then occasionally friends would want pipes fixed, and it just kind of grew. And I saw earlier someone was asking about fishing stories, and I have fishing stories. They're not often pipe related stories. They're not all stories that I can publicly tell, but they're all entertaining. But gotta be in the right mood for those. That is true, Bona Piper. Battle Creek Briar, can you mud a smoked Missouri meerschaum? I think you can. I would sand it first. I would sand it out just to make sure you got something for the mud to grip to. A dive into the Costello world? Well, B. Conrad, they don't call it catching, they call it fishing. No, Boca, I didn't. I haven't gotten any pipes in today. It will probably show up tomorrow. Good point, Monty. Good point. It doesn't have to be about a pipe. Yeah, honestly, guys, I'll just add on to what Boca has kindly told us. Don't try to modify your pipes with a hand drill. Uh, the getting a getting a filter retrofit into a pipe is not trivial, and I actually don't like to do it because I think it almost inevitably weakens either the shank or the tenon. Uh, but if you are going to do it, try to get somebody to do it for you because that's one thing that you can really screw up the pipe trying to do that. Oh, that's great, Ben. That's a fantastic story. I promise you, when it comes to fishing, I am a liar. Hello, Patreon Piper. That's great, Ollie. It's easy to go wrong. But you're right. The 9 millimeter drill, it's interesting. So if I'm doing a 6 millimeter conversion, I will drill and ream it to 6 millimeters, and it fits perfectly. If I'm doing a 9 millimeter conversion, I do not ream it to 9 millimeters. So I use the one letter size down drill, and then the filter fits perfectly. So you do want to go smaller than 9 millimeter. Lunding Larry, have a good evening. Thanks for stopping in. Blow and smoke, I once caught a bluegill with an empty hook. Here's a fishing story for you. I sometimes in the summer when it's too hot to fish for trout, if I just have a itch to fish, I'll go to a local lake and I'll throw flies, but I'll catch bluegill. And it's silly because you catch a fish on every cast. Now I'm not talking about the big bluegill that some of you guys might be familiar with. I think in some of the southern lakes and ponds they can get really like dinner plate size. Up here, these are little tiny things, and they're a nuisance. It's hard to not catch them. And I caught this. I had a fly on the line, and I caught this. The fly's like this big, and the darn bluegill was about this big. And I'm bent over, and I'm trying to get the hook out to let him go, and the hook is dangling in the water ahead of him as I'm letting him go and reviving him. And the darn fish swam right for that hook that I just took out of his mouth and took a bite at it. You stupid fish. A trout would never do that. They're much more respectable, refined fish. Yeah, you got to watch him, Ben. He's sneaky. Trout are delicious fish, full smoking bar. I like eating them too. Although I honestly never eat them. I never eat what I catch. I'm 100% catch and release. I just enjoy the sporting aspect of catching the fish, and it's easier for me to just go to the supermarket and buy some fish than to take home the fish and clean it and everything. I'd rather be able to catch it again. Oh, I bought this Zippo, George, probably. See, I left Pittsburgh in '95, and it must have been like 1989, 1990, somewhere around then. Thank you, Clarence. I'm glad you're enjoying them. Yeah, those little tiny ones put up a fight, Boca. It's funny, they seem to be uh, able to exert extra force. Arkansas Mike, does packing a pipe too tight make it burn hotter? Uh, I think it does. You're having to draw harder, and you're pulling air through faster. I like that, Jim. That's the best way to catch a fish for dinner. I know, Ben. I know. I'm sorry. I Ben sent me the Artful Codger sent me a beautiful Zippo lighter that I've been meaning to do a video on, and just haven't gotten to it. No, Peter Piper True Light. That's just an empty container back there. Hello, Josh. Welcome. How's the weather in Vermont this evening? I know, Ben, but I'd still like to do it. Patriot and Piper, you're going to be at the Chicago show. Monty Piper's going to try to go. So they did find a new location. That's official now, Ollie? We could only hope, Josh. We got to go fishing sometime, John. That sounds like a lot of fun. Naptown Pipes and Sticks. I'm going to try to make it to Boswell's. That's April 25th. I'm definitely going to try. Um, oh, Matt, you're going. That's going to be a good time. I was thinking. So the New York show is next week. Um, I'm in southeastern Pennsylvania. WKRP Piper. I was planning on going to the New York show next week, but I'm kind of thinking I may not be able to make it after all, so I'll be disappointed in that. Oh, that's great, John. I look forward to seeing you there. Seems like it's going to be a pretty large group going to Boswell's. I hope they're ready for the numbers. Is anybody planning on going to the New York show, which is a week from tomorrow? This is Cornell and Deal Star of the East. Oh, sorry to hear that, Jack. No, for reasons I don't understand, the New York Pipe Show is in Newark, New Jersey. So they'll be expecting crowds then pipe full. That makes sense. Good deal, Jim. Drink one for me. Are you asking me that, WKR Piper? Because I am familiar with both of those. It's a good question, Paul. Um, it's sad. I mean, I'm in the science world, and we've seen a couple of large conferences that were canceled this week, and we've got all sorts of restrictions. I mean, we basically have zero business travel right now. No, Cogs, I'm not familiar with the Cigar Fest. Is it, Paul? Yeah, Paul's talking about the COVID-19 coronavirus mess, and it is a mess. That's probably true, South Jersey Piper. Yeah, Josh, I brought that up earlier, and if he just gets 50 more, we'll be able to get that number eight up to 860, which is great. And $20 for every pipe is going to John's family. So it's really, Eddie's doing a fantastic thing. Yeah, my wife went out shopping today just because it was her day to go shopping, John, and she said the stores were just crazy. And I don't want to downplay the severity of this, and certainly restricting travel and things like that are going to help a lot in terms of sort of blocking this from spreading too much and allowing it to just naturally die out. But the truth is, this is not, um, You probably remember the SARS outbreak a few years back. SARS killed close to 10% of everyone that was infected. Uh, so far, COVID-19 is killing about 3% of everyone that's infected. So it's actually a less lethal um, virus. And it's affecting people that are already sick. It's not going to kill a healthy person. You're going to have a pretty bad cold, but it's not going to kill you. That's true, bearded Welshman. That's absolutely true. I think we're going to be fine. And the best thing to do is just wash your hands. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. Say the ABCs, or sing "Happy Birthday" to me while you're washing your hands, and that'll get you about 20 seconds. Or if you're really clever, you can count to like 20, 25. Uh, it's funny they give you all these methods, but they never just say, "Well, count." Hey, Sarge, good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I did hear about that, Patrick Izzo. Two positive tests in Pennsylvania were in Delaware County. Um, but for some reason, they closed down a bunch of schools in Bucks County, which I'm right on the border with Bucks County. Uh, it's, again, I don't want to in any way underestimate it or suggest that anybody shouldn't be concerned, but it just seems to me the concern is way out of proportion to what we're really dealing with. Is that so, Full Smoking Bar? That's a shame. Yeah, the regular surgical mask won't stop it. Uh, People do love a good panic, Ben. Yeah, that is a worry, Kilted Piper Steve. I mean, obviously she's going to have much greater risk of exposure. Yeah, Paul, the 21 testing positive on the cruise ship, and I think that's actually the cruise ship that came in with a bunch of people that were positive. They sent it back out again, which is just crazy. I see, Steve. Yeah, that's got to be careful. That's really something there, Full Smoking Bar. I'm sorry to hear that. It's a shame when pure panic causes those kinds of problems. I'm not even sure I understand. You can't buy hand sanitizer right now. And I'm not a medical expert and I'm not a microbiologist. So I'm not trying to give any advice here, but it's my understanding that hand sanitizer will kill bacteria but not virus. So I have no idea why people are even buying hand sanitizer right now. Ain't that the truth, Sarge? Yeah, you're right, Pipes and Chores. You're not going to fix it by worrying about it. Yeah, Ollie, it shouldn't work. It only works against bacteria. It doesn't work against viruses. I think you're right, Piping Hammer. Uh, WKR Piper, I think Eddie in his email said about a week, so it's not a hard date yet. So I suggest sometime in the next 3 or 4 days, either ordering or getting in touch with him and letting him know you'd like to order. Yeah, soap is the answer. And the point I was making earlier about you're told to either say the ABCs or sing Happy Birthday or something like that to make sure you're washing your hands for 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 seconds. Most people don't do that. Most people rinse off their hands and they think they've washed them. So it really is a something that you need to think about. Yeah, but Ben, you know that's hard to do. Bleach at the right concentration would kill it, Christian, but you don't want to be rubbing bleach all over yourself. I think you'd have worse problems from that. That's the truth, Neptune. Yes, blowing smoke. The virus can be transmitted by cash, and I suggest you send it all to me, and I'll dispose of it for you. Well, that must be a good feeling, Matt. Enjoy. There you go, Ben. I'm really on his word. There you go, Boca. Two birds with one stone, as they say. You know, I believe that OBX Piper. I have had this experience. Nobody believes this. I wonder if any of you guys have had this happen. I've got the feeling that I'm getting a cold. Scratchy throat. My nose is feeling clogged. And I'll go home and I'll say, I'm gonna smoke a cigar tonight. I'm gonna smoke a pipe tonight because it's gonna be a couple of weeks before I'm able to enjoy this again. And somehow that seems to, the next day I don't have the cold anymore. Now, I probably didn't have the cold to begin with, but it's happened often enough that I actually, in a completely non-scientific way, believe that I'm somehow curing the cold by smoking. Enough Knob Creek might not kill the virus, but at least prevent you from caring. It's lethal to many things, WKR Piper. Yeah, I've heard people say that as well, Bearded Welshman. And it doesn't make sense because you shouldn't be able to reverse that once it starts, but it does seem to be sometimes reversible. And I think I've gotten about as much out of this Star of the East as I'm going to get tonight. That's a good question, Andrew. The other thing I don't understand is there's apparently been a huge run on paper products, like paper towels and toilet paper and things like that. I don't know why we expect that that's going to be a problem. Coronavirus. So this pipe is actually a pipe made by a guy who went by the name of Briar Spirit. His name was Kirk Fitzgerald, and he made Briar Spirit pipes. And unfortunately, Kirk is not making pipes anymore, and I've lost touch with him. But he was a wonderful guy, and he really made some beautiful pipes, working in a shed with hand tools. So this is entirely made with hand tools, and he just did some fantastic work. I commissioned this off of him. If you've seen me smoke that ugly Mexican-made pipe that I broke the shank on, and I've told the story several times, it's a little bit smaller than this. But when I broke that, I asked him to make a pipe for me to sort of be a replacement, and he modeled this after that pipe. And what am I going to have in it? Well, since we now know it has curative properties, I'm going to go with Haunted Bookshop. Steph and Skip, good to see you guys. Sweet and sour chicken. Did you see that Corona is offering like $15 million to research Corona beer if they change the name of the virus to Bud Light? Yeah, you guys had the same problem there, Steph and Skip? Yeah, Stonehenge Minstrel. I already tried that with cash and it didn't work. Yeah, Josh, I agree. Um, no comment, Christian. Oh, Sarge, that's the best one I've heard. Coronavirus goes good with Lyme's disease. Yeah, Fireman Piper, that's probably about right. It's not a fast process. Heineken virus. Desert Pine Piper had to take off, but he would be very upset if we suggested the uh, Miller. I couldn't remember the name of the beer. Miller virus. There you go, George. Good to see you, George. I'm glad you could make it. I was talking earlier about some of the comments that I had gotten on the live stream format, and George just reminded it because if I'm not mistaken, George, you're one of the folks with this kind of challenge where the timing doesn't work out sometimes for people, especially West Coast. Um, yeah, George, I know, and that's what I was thinking of. You know, guys work late, they live on the West Coast, they've got long commutes and all that, and I understand that, but there's no way that I can pick a time that's going to be perfect for everyone, and this time slot just works well. Uh, I really appreciate it, guys, when you watch the replays. You know, to me, that's just as good as watching live. I mean, it's fun to have you guys interacting, of course, but hopefully you can catch the replays and get something out of that as well. And the benefit of that is you can skip forward if I'm boring. I'm glad to hear that works for you, John. Rob Van Eschoten, good to see you, my friend, and thank you for staying up so late there in the Netherlands. George, if you came on a bit earlier, you would have actually seen me smoking a lot of Kia Blend, but now you know what I'm smoking. This is Haunted Bookshop. I just switched to it about 5 minutes ago. I'm really glad you could make it, Rob. It's nice to have you here. That's right. It's a haunted bookshop for greater health. That's the theme of tonight's live stream. And what is that, WKR Piper? What would you like to see? Hey, Luke, welcome. It's another guy who's coming from a distant time zone over in Japan. Next week's guest is actually going to be Phil Bennett from Uncle Phil's Cellar. So he'll be staying up late for the for the live streams. We're going to have him on live. I missed him showing up, but everybody's saying hi, Onion. So hi, Onion. I'm glad to see you here. Yeah, it's a different experience, Patrick. Yeah, I'm looking forward to interviewing Phil. He is a swell guy. He's an interesting guy too. I think he's going to have a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Hey, Curmudgeon Piper, good to see you, buddy. Dominic, how you doing? Hollywood Piper's brother. It's good to see you dropping in. I'm doing fine. I'll push the house. So the other bit of news, other than Phil being on next week, which I'm looking forward to, and I hope you guys can make it. Uh, hey, Bama Guitar Dude, good to see you, Mark. I I'm gonna do, not this weekend, but next weekend. I'm gonna schedule a weekend live stream during the day, one of the 2 days, and that's to allow folks that can't make this time slot to have an opportunity. And that's also where I'm going to start doing and I was doing this before, I just suspended it for the month of February, but I'm going to start doing a monthly giveaway contest of some sort. So you'll see more information about that over the week, and hope you can join from that. It should be fun. We'll just have a chat kind of like this, but I'll have something. I know there's at least one tin of tobacco that I'm going to be including, and maybe something else. So it should be fun. It's just a way to thank you guys for all your support and the time you take out to watch what I do. Thanks, Dominic. I didn't realize you were a pipe maker as well. That's great. So I got to figure out what time will work best for that weekend stream. I don't want to, cut in on anybody else's time, but it'll probably be early afternoon Eastern Standard Time, and that seems to be best for, both folks that are on the other side of the pond and the folks that are on the West Coast here. So we'll see if we can find a time that works there that doesn't interfere with somebody else. Isn't everyone on YouTube a pipe maker? I'm not. I'm not, and I don't want to be. Yeah, Sarge, I chatted with Brad a bit last week, and he's doing fine. He's hoping to be more into YouTube in the not too distant future. He's been back up on Instagram a bit more. No, Luke, Brad's fine. He's just been kind of missing in action for a while. He took a little bit of time off. Oh, good pipe trade. Glad to hear. Yeah, Sarge, he'd appreciate that. Now, I'll be honest. I've briefly looked in on Classical Pipe Show there, WKR Piper, and it looks like a great show. I just don't have a lot of time on the weekends to watch a lot of live streams. So, unfortunately, it's not something I can catch very often. But it looks like he does have a really nice show. Hey, Sarge, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Yeah, Sarge's Walmart story was hilarious the other day. That's how she knows you're getting into trouble, Jim, when the buffer turns off. Luke was in the house. I'm sorry, I'm looking. I've got a laptop in front of me so I can read the live stream because I can't see the small print that's on the tablet that's actually recording me. So I'm not making eye contact with you, and I got to work on that. That's not very good. Sounds like a good evening, Ben, if I must say so myself. How's the new dog working out? Hey, Josh, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, I've said before, guys, I'm not much of a numbers guy, but it is nice to see the turnout that we're getting here, and I hope that's because I'm doing something that you're enjoying. So if there's not any other burning questions, I don't like to take this for more than an hour because somebody else might want to jump on, and I want to give everybody their chance. But as I said at the beginning, I really appreciate the feedback that I've been getting. If there are things that you want to see, things you think I could do better, my email address is on the About tab. It's canerodpiper@gmail.com. Get in touch. If you want to be a guest, get in touch. I'd love. We've got folks scheduled out into June now, I think. So it'll be a while, but would love to get you onto the live stream. And by all means, tune in on Sunday. I'll have something new for you then. Tune in next week for Phil from Uncle Phil's Cellar. I think that's going to be a great show. And until then, I'll just say goodbye tonight and look forward to talking to you all again very soon. So have a good evening.